Hello friends, today in this video I will discuss how to convert VARCHAR to date in SQL Server. So as part of this video tutorial we are going to see four simple approaches to do this. The first approach is how we can use convert function with style code. Second approach will be how we can use cast function for the ISO formatted dates. Approach 3 is how we can use try underscore convert for error handling, and the final or the last approach will be how we can use parse with culture information. Okay, so as part of this video tutorial we are going to discuss these four simple approaches to achieve this. Okay, now what I'll do, I will just navigate to my SQL Server Management Studio where I will execute all these queries. I will show you all the syntaxes, and then we will execute one query as an example, and we will see the output. And what I have done is I have written all these queries including the syntax in a notepad, because if I'll start typing on the video itself it will be unnecessarily so much lengthy, right? So what I have done, I have already written all these queries with syntaxes in a notepad. There we will I will try to make you understand in that notepad, and we will copy those queries to the SQL Server Management Studio and we will execute those queries there. Okay. Now let me navigate to the notepad first to make you understand the syntax and the query. Okay. So this is the notepad, guys. You can able to see. Let me just zoom in little bit so that you can clearly see it properly. So you can able to see this is the approach one, as I told you, how we can use convert function with style codes, and the syntax is convert function followed by with the parameter date, and then this is the worker expression that you have to specify, and then followed by the style code. So basically this is the simple syntax of this convert function with the style code, the first approach. And this is the example, guys. Select order id, order name. I have a table called orders. From there we are trying to retrieve order id and order name, and here is the convert function we are using. Okay, so basically this order, I have also order date, one more column, that we are retrieving by converting into slash dd slash yyy format, right? So basically here we are using convert function, then date, then the worker expression, that is nothing but our order date column here, and followed by the style code, that is 101. Style code 101 is for this format, slash dd slash yyy format. This is the style code for that. And then as this is the column name, order date converted from orders, this is our table where convert date order underscore date 101, that is the conversion date on this format is greater than equal to this one. Okay, this is the date. So basically this is the condition. See, if I'll copy this query, if I'll copy this query, and what I'll do, I'll navigate to my SQL Server Management Studio, which I have already opened here. I will just paste it here. Okay, and I will zoom in little bit so that you can clearly see it. Okay, now if I will try executing this query, then able to see we got the expected output, those satisfying this condition, right? This where condition, we got records, all the records, right? 1 to 11 order ID, we have these records that satisfy this condition, right? Going back to the second approach, so I'll go to the notepad again, and we will move to the second approach, that is using cast function for ISO formatted dates, right? So here what you are trying to do here, this is the syntax actually, this is the cast function. Here we are passing the worker expression as date. Okay, so this is so simple, and this will work with the ISO format, that is YYYY and then DD, right? So if we'll, as an example, if we'll execute this particular query, I will just copy this query. I will go to the notepad, and I will go to the new query. I'll paste this, and I will try executing this query. You can able to see we got the expected output, right? So this is the second approach, guys. I will move to the third approach. I will go to the notepad again. And this is the approach 3, that is using try underscore convert for error handling. And the syntax is try underscore convert is the function, and the parameter is date, and then the worker expression, then the style code, right? So this is the example. Select order ID, order name, and uh, we can use this all this date format 101, 103, 112, all this date format. This is DD YYYY, then this is DD YYYY, and this is YYYY then DD, right? So we are using the coalesce function here. We are trying to retrieve with multiple date format as order date from the orders table, where then this is the same condition where it is not null, right? These values are not null. So if I'll copy this query, complete query, and I will just go to the SQL Server Management Studio, and I will just paste this complete query here. You can able to see this is the complete query. I'll just execute it. You can able to see we got the expected output, right? So now I will navigate to the notepad again, and this is the approach for using parse with culture information, and the syntax is parse worker expression as date using culture, right? This is the complete syntax. And here as an example, we have first thing is we are converting it to a US date format, and the second one is UK date format. Select parse, then we are providing the worker expression, that is the date, as date using ENUS and ENGB. ENGB is for UK date, and this US date is ENUS, right? So if I'll copy this both the queries, I will go to the notepad. I'm sorry, I'll go to the SQL Server Management Studio. I will select this query, I will paste it. Okay. So if I'll execute this, you can able to see we got the expected output, guys. The first one is the US date format, and then the followed by the UK date format, right? Right. You can able to see even though we are using a different string expression here, right? This is based on the US date format, and this is based on the UK date format, but we got the expected output as the same one here, right? So these are all about the four approaches you can utilize to achieve this functionality, right? That's it for today, guys. I thought to quickly show you how to convert worker to date in SQL Server, and we have discussed four simple approaches to do that. On the similar topic, I have also written an article in my website. That article link also I am going to put it in the video description. If you want to copy these queries and all, you can collect from there. Thanks a lot again, guys, for watching this video. If you found this video little helpful for you, kindly subscribe to our channel to support us, so that you will get lots of free SQL Server tips, Azure tips, and many more. Thanks a lot again, guys, and have a nice day. Bye bye.